Good afternoon. Hey, this is Rod Brown. How are you? Hope all is well. Thank you for joining the Lead or Lose call today. Today I want to talk about leading through tough times. In the United States of America these days, we have some pretty tough times, and there are plenty of opportunities for leadership. If you look at South Carolina, you have a situation with the flag recently coming down. You have the Charleston situation. You have the relationship with the public and law enforcement throughout the country. So there's just some tough times, and there are plenty of opportunities for us to step up as leaders. First and foremost, I believe that everyone is a leader. I believe everyone is a leader in their gifting. And it's important that you operate in your gifting when it comes to leadership. So if each one of us act as a leader in our gifting, we can make this world a better place. I truly believe that. When we lead through tough times, there's some things that have to be in the forefront. First and foremost, we have to be intentional about leading during tough times. We have to, lead steadfastly, and we have to be very upfront with dealing with the situations and the circumstances when dealing with tough leadership opportunities. And I want to call them opportunities because even in turmoil, there are always some type of opportunity. So first of all, you have to be intentional. Second of all, there has to be a willingness to go gather as much factual knowledge about that situation or that circumstance. So whenever you gather knowledge, then at some point in time you can transfer that knowledge into wisdom. But gathering the knowledge or gathering factual knowledge is important. So you don't want to, hang your hat on emotions. You don't want to hang your hat on he said, she said. You want factual knowledge about the situation. So if you look at, say, for example, the flag coming down in South Carolina, and I really don't care what side of the fence you're on, as long as you're on one side of the fence. What you can't do is be indifferent. You cannot afford to be indifferent if, again, you're in a leadership role and you have people that are counting on you to help you lead them through this tough time, because that particular tough time, say, for example, specifically in South Carolina, could be a huge distraction to your ultimate vision. Remember, leadership exists when you have followers, when you have influence over those followers, and the influence that you have over the followers, and the followers are moving towards specific goals and objectives that are tied directly to your vision. So anytime there's turmoil, anytime there are tough times that can possibly derail your activities, moving you towards your ultimate vision, it could potentially be a bad situation. So you need to be able to lead folks through these tough times. So, again, just looking at that particular situation, what you cannot do is afford to be indifferent. And the way that you eventually get to the point where you're not indifferent during a tough situation like the, coming down of the Confederate flag in South Carolina is having enough information to make up your mind. So you have to have enough factual information about that particular situation. You don't want to make decisions, or you don't want to get on one side or the other with your emotions only. You can't afford to do that because your emotions could be driven. First of all, your emotion is it's just that, it's something that you feel. And there's so many things that can influence how you feel that could be factual or not. And you certainly don't want to make decisions in an emotional state based on non-factual information. So you want to be in a place where you're gathering as much factual information as possible. Once you do that, then at that particular point in time, once you have gathered a significant amount of factual information, and I'll go as far as saying all of the factual information about a situation or a circumstance, at that point, there's no way possible for you to be indifferent. Because what will happen is with that information, you will take that information and you will agree with the information that you've gotten at some point in time. And when I say agree, I don't necessarily mean be on the side of a particular argument. What I mean by is go, this information that I got is factual, so now I can use this information to form beliefs. because that's all a belief is information that we've agreed with. So once you've validated the information that you've gotten, that's a better term, we'll say that. Once you've validated the information that you've gotten, then at that particular point in time, now you can form an opinion, you can form a belief, and what you won't be is you will not be indifferent. If you are indifferent in tough times, you will lose respect of those that are following you, especially if it is a tough situation or circumstance that derails you from moving towards your vision or is a distraction from you or your team moving towards your objective, moving towards that vision. So if you are in a leadership position or a leadership role, say, for example, in South Carolina, and, you know, again, once you decide what side you're on, that's your decision. And the good thing is I'll definitely respect that, and I believe everyone will respect that. But what will not be respected is someone who says, I'm indifferent. I really don't care. You know, and you have to care, because in that particular situation, it's a situation where it's polarizing. It's pulling people, you know, one way or the other. So you have to be able to step in and have factual information that will help you lead the folks that believe in you, that count on you to lead them through tough times and tough situations. So having the right knowledge will then ultimately help you use wisdom or have wisdom, because wisdom is simply having knowledge and processing that knowledge and using that knowledge to best suit your situation or your circumstance or your leadership role or your leadership position. So getting factual knowledge is important. Using that knowledge and taking action is really the next key step. So there's a tough situation, there's a tough circumstance. You've taken the time to understand that circumstance, the good, the bad, the ugly. You've gotten factual information about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now what you have to do is you have to formulate some type of plan and then carry out that plan in action. Because the folks that follow you, they will be looking at you for leadership and for guidance on how are we going to get through this situation. And the how is developed in the plan. You know, if we fail to plan, we're basically planning to fail. And I'm sure you've heard that cliche before, but it is so true. So creating a plan also helps folks understand, here are the steps that we're going to take to get through this situation or to get past this circumstance, right? And so what you've done is you've removed the mystery of getting beyond the tough time. And if everything works with the plan that you've laid out, then folks will know what the expected result or the expected outcome is. So having that plan for your folks and then communicating that plan and then acting out that plan, which is the next key step. Acting out that plan is the next key step. So you have your plan, but you don't do anything. Again, you're going to lose respect. You're going to lose respect with those that are following you. You're going to lose respect, with those that count on you to help, get them through this tough time. Everything rises and falls with leadership. Being able to help folks through tough situations and circumstances is probably where a leader earns his or her stripes, because it's easy during easy times, quite frankly. But the tough times, like many, many situations that we're dealing with now in America, that's where a leader really and truly earns his or her stripes. So make sure you're intentional about dealing with a tough time or situation. You're going to hit it head on. Make sure you're intentional. Make sure you gain as much knowledge or all of the knowledge about that situation or circumstance. Again, the knowledge comes, as long as it's factual. You don't care if it's good. You don't care if it's bad. You don't care if it's ugly, as long as it's factual. Once you have that knowledge, then you're going to use that knowledge to have wisdom about creating a plan for those that are following you. Once you have the steps to that plan, you're going to communicate that plan effectively. You just demystified how we're going to get through this tough time, and then you're going to execute that plan. And if you do that, you'll gain much more respect, regardless of where you stand with that tough situation or that circumstance. You're going to gain a great deal of respect with those that are following you. And again, you will elevate your overall effectiveness as a leader by getting through the tough times and earning your stripes as a leader through the tough times. This call has been sponsored by ShareNote.com. ShareNote is an electronic health record system that manages data and documentation and also improves communication in mental health agencies, people that provide mental health services or behavioral health care services. I want to thank you for listening to the call today. Time flies when you're having fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you want to catch up with us on Twitter, you can reach me at Roderick L. Brown. That's at Roderick L. Brown. Thanks again for listening, and I send you blessings.